Hello, everybody, and thank you to be in this session. I will be presenting the rise of value-driven intelligence, and I'm sure that you are all aware of the rise of artificial intelligence since a while, and unfortunately or fortunately, data governance and data quality does not make an exception. So many, solutions are coming with embedding artificial intelligence into the data governance journey and into the data quality journey. So I am Dr. Walid Abed. I am a linguist and computer scientist. My first presentation on data governance was in London in 2003, and then I presented data governance in Las Vegas in 2007. And it was about presenting governed by value, meaning data governance using value linking, actually data governance to the value and to the impact. I am a researcher at the Center of Lucien Tenière, and I am a PhD in artificial intelligence. My research was mainly focused on the creation of a semantic meta model that makes the link or the bridge between the human semantics, the semantics of the languages, and the machine semantics, because the main problem across the history is language. We say communication, but actually it is not really communication. It is mainly the language, and that's why we have communication problem. And the language, we have multiple problems in the language. So the first problem is that we don't speak all humans do not speak the same languages or the same language. Even in America, if you go to the Texas, or you come to Washington, D.C., or you go to San Francisco or North Carolina, I am not sure that you speak the same language. And if you have Indian English or British English or South African English, it is always a challenge. You use the same words, but it is not the same sense. If you combine now not only English, but other languages, European languages, or Semitic languages like Hebrew or Arabic, then you can see and you can imagine why we have so much conflicts in the world. It's because of the non-understanding of the language. And the machines, they also have their own way of going, and they speak different languages as well. You can imagine we started with assembly, as a language to interact with this machine. Then we have evolved languages, third procedural languages, event-mental languages, object languages, etc. So we have now Java, Python, SQL, and all other types of languages. And of course, these languages do not neither have the same philosophy nor can talk to each other. So we have double problems here in the digital era. In the digital era, we cannot afford actually intermediate or middlemen, to translate, because otherwise you will get lost in translation. So I focused my studies on how to bridge this gap of languages and to enable actually a permanent dialogue between humans and the humans and machines. And I came with this semantic meta model that was transformed into a science, the data excellence science that is taught now at multiple universities. In this presentation, I will present that there is a new type of AI that is required to align with the speed of value creation and the permanent changes. The laws are changing every day. So every day you wake up and you have Data Act, you have Data Governance Act, you have GDPR, you have, no more, the prices are changing for energy. You wake up also with gender equality, that it is becoming actually a reality, that we need to ensure that it is real. The climate, change, etc. So we have every day actually changes in our ways of doing things and in our ways of understanding even things. So I will present and I will define at the beginning the artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? We will learn the difference between conventional versus the linguistic and value-driven artificial intelligence. And we will see how to link, actually, this morning in the keynote, I heard about the carrot and the stick. But actually, it is not the one or the other. We have to bear both the value and the impact. So the value of what we do and the impact of what we do, whatever it is, a positive or negative impact. So we are at the era of connectivity and connectedness and the transparency. We need to be transparent on what we achieve. And it is extremely important to link what we do to the value and to the impact. And not anymore, it is not enough to link it to the key performance indicators. And we will see the difference between governing the world with performance and governing the world with value and values. And we will see how we can leverage from existing data and systems, because every time we come into a new paradigm or a new evolution of the society, of the way we do transactions, we have new methods and we have new tools, and we need to convert all what we have done and to renew our infrastructure, and to go from the ERP 1.0 to 2.0 to 4.0, and of course the battle on the value between all these software editors, including the GAFAM and including the traditional process-oriented and ERP tools that are transforming themselves actually into a digital tools. But the digital era requires actually a new, of course, a new type of platforms to work. But it doesn't mean that you have to throw out all what you have been doing, because the systems that you created are simply managing data and transacting with data. So the data is there. The rules of the game are there. They are changing, of course, but they are there. The people are there. It's the same science that we are working on. So there is no requirement really to, when you launch a data governance initiative, that you have to, to reinvest again and again and again in the infrastructure. So the digital world, so it's a paradigm shift. And a paradigm shift actually is, it means that we are heading into something that we don't know, that actually consists on changes in our behaviors, changes of the way we are doing business, and the changes in the technology. Today we are talking about the quantum mathematics and the quantum informatics and the quantum, we have a quantum mechanics and you have a quantum everywhere. And we are talking about also AI. So do you know that AI is not actually something which is new? AI, it has always been there, but we didn't have at that time machines that are able to compute, because it was based on computing AI. So there is a new challenge for artificial intelligence, for governance, and the data, the enterprise data management, meaning a new world, new challenges. And you cannot address the same challenges with the same consciousness and the same way of working. As Einstein said, you cannot solve problems at the same level of consciousness who created them. So you need to have a new type of consciousness, a new type of methods so that you can overcome this. So these new challenges are still unsolved. If you have, plenty of solutions are existing. ERP is standing for Enterprise Resource Planning. So how to plan your resources. CRM, Customer Relationship Management. MDM, this actually a concept that was new some 20 years back. When we were talking as data governance and data management professionals, we were talking about this master data management. But actually we missed completely the story, and we missed actually to convey the right message, because master data management, it is not about having a centralized database that contains reference data. It is not that. It is not about a technical solution. It is master data management. It is actually mastering the data that is owned by the enterprises or by the individuals, so that you do not actually miss it out when you transfer this data for another usage than the original usage it was actually meant for. So, and we transform this into, a tool. Just install an MDM, and then you will succeed. So I can give you some of the examples. I implemented the largest data management MDM and data governance programs in the world when I was actually young, okay? So, and you can tell, I will tell some of the numbers only on this transformation, the transformation of enterprises to go from, this was in the early 2000s. You remember the early 2000s where the computers do not understand anymore the dates, and if you don't understand the dates, it is a big problem. So many enterprises want to transform themselves to go into an ERP now, and master data management. 4 billion Swiss francs, and 7 years later, the outcome was to upgrade into the next version, because what you want to do actually in the new business for this version, it doesn't work. You need to move from SAP is 4 point something for Core 3, this was called Core 3, into the new EC, version, because actually, of course, you have to deal with master data management and data governance. And then 50 billion later, and some 10 years, now the answer is you have to move to HANA, because, in memory computing, etc., etc. And now you need to move into the platforms. So it's actually ERP as a platform or as a service, etc. And it's always the same story. In another company, 400 million euro, and 6 years later, your business doesn't really, the competitive advantage doesn't come from the ERP, but it comes from the CRM. So you need a good CRM, So you need a good CRM, and of course, you have the landscape of competition, and you have Salesforce that comes actually into the equation, and you have all these things. And then in the financial area, some hundreds of millions and even billions. It's the KYC. This is your competitive advantage. You need to know your customer. It's as if before you didn't need actually to know your customer. But this is actually, these are the solutions that we are still stuck on those solutions. And of course, you have startups and unicorns that are, that were born, that are digital native, what they call. But actually, they are not digital native. They are just automating the existing, instead of doing it manually, we have more power, etc. So we can actually doing it automatically. But we didn't change our way of thinking, the type of intelligence that we are using. And of course, the AI is not an exception. Existing, you can have the best artificial intelligence in the world. First of all, artificial intelligence is just a software. So if you see a robot that is able to mimic people, this is not intelligent. It's the software inside that actually makes it intelligent. So it is just algorithms. And algorithms are written by who? By us, by men, by humans. So actually they are as intelligent as the genius who is writing these algorithms. So if the purpose of the AI is still the same as for the enterprise resource planning era, or the process era, I call it, or the industrial era, actually we will not get any new type of intelligence. So the story here is that the knowledge is disconnected. All the pieces of knowledge are disconnected. So the knowledge to do things, the knowledge around with whom you are doing these things, the knowledge around the rules that you need to follow so that you can do these things. So the transaction actually is just a connection between different type of knowledge. As in general, in the last panel, we heard about how to connect business people with technologists or with data governance people. So that actually we need to kiss each other's probably, and shake hands and be nice with each other so that we can understand each other's. But actually the thing is that why we should actually do meetings and align ourselves on the language if we are in the same boat, if we are in the same company. In general, the goals of the company should be clear. The rules of the game should be clear. So the data governance is just a mean. It's not a target. It's not my target to implement data governance in my company, but my target is to make my numbers and to raise above the numbers, because it's not enough now to do the numbers, because I need to explain how did I do my numbers. Is it in respecting gender equality? Is it in participating in eradicating the poverty? Is it, the sustainable development goals that actually all the nations today are agreeing on them? What are we doing with them? We are still measuring them the same way. What way? Performance, declarative. I declare that I put money so that actually that I can enable, clean energy. It's not because you put money that you wash your consciousness and it's done. It is not done, because the data must align so that actually it demonstrates that it is done. As long as the data is not aligned, really literally, and connected to the knowledge that you are trying to achieve your targets with, it doesn't work. So organizations miss out on value generation and the growth opportunities as they struggle to centralize, connect, and interpret data. Centralize, actually, it doesn't mean that you put them in one place. Each time we have ambiguity in this world, actually. When we say centralize, it means that we put everything in this room and then we govern it. No. Centralize, it means that put it at the center. Put this at the center. Wherever it is, you can connect it together. And centralize, it means that you need to govern in a central way. Central way doesn't mean that it is not split across the blockchain. Centralized, it means that it has to be at the center. It is not just a limb of the octopus. So what is artificial intelligence? So simply speaking, you take any dictionary, and it didn't change, by the way, okay? So it didn't change. If you have anyone who is smart enough to tell that, for me, artificial intelligence is this, actually it should be in his or in her world, okay? Not in our world, because in our world we have dictionaries, we have knowledge, we have science, and we have definitions. And fortunately, we have this because this is how we evolve. Because otherwise, if you don't have the basic meaning, you cannot actually go into a new meaning of the same thing. It can happen that words can change sense, but it has to be acknowledged, recognized, and diffused. So artificial intelligence, it's also AI. It's also MI, machine intelligence. So is intelligence demonstrated by machines in contrast to the natural intelligence that is demonstrated by humans and some animals, And our problem is that we consider ourselves as human as the most intelligent things that exist in the universe. Actually, simply because we defined intelligence. So if we define intelligence, of course, relatively, we are the best, okay? But if you go to a rabbit or a rat world and try to explore their, terms and semantics, maybe they consider themselves the most intelligent in the world. Okay, just a question for you. Do you know how many words an English-speaking and a native English-speaking person or French-speaking person, because it is very similar, speaks an average, all his or her life? How many words they use for the language? 100,000. Sorry? 100,000. Wow. You are overestimating our intelligence. Sorry? 300. So you are underestimating. So between, this is the 300 words. With 300 words, an average human in any language speaks actually so that they can survive, live, okay? And this is including the articles, the, is, this is including all of this, okay? So a talented, person like, no, I will not go into politics, okay? Can speak 600. And Victor Hugo, I don't know if you know Victor Hugo, is a French author, 3,000. So if you take William Shakespeare, it's similar, okay? The beauty, actually, it's that we use little words, a small number of words, but within context, we can make a hell of sense, of meaning out of it, okay? So which means that the less words we use, the more inventive we are, okay? So we say that French language is the language of literature and love, It's because actually it has much less vocabulary than the English language that is precise, very precise. So no room for, of course there is room, but less room for using the same word for meaning different things, and sometimes the thing and its opposite. So colloquially, the term artificial intelligence is applied when a machine mimics cognitive functions that humans associate with other humans' minds, such as learning, problem solving. The type of AI, machine learning, do you know about machine learning? It is the most common thing that actually artificial intelligence. Analytics and the statistics driven. The role is visual perception, meaning that I give 1,000 pictures of me, of a man actually, or a woman, and at the end the machine will recognize that this is a man or this is a woman. But if you take a woman and just put a parachute and she jumps over a bridge, and you take a picture, and this situation has not been taught to the machine will think that it's an ovni, you know? So it doesn't work on the meaning of things, it works on the image, you know? The image, the characteristics, the physical characteristics, etc. Voice recognition, this is very easy, easy. In the 80s, it was a headache. So to turn my accent into something that English people can understand, you know, because it is not obvious, okay, or an Indian accent or whatever, you know. I did a lot of, I spend nights with the computer so that the computer can understand what I say, you know, just actually literally transform the words into something understandable. And today it is really wow. If you take PowerPoint today and you turn, the voice recognition, it's amazing how accurate it is. It is about mathematics, actually. It has nothing to do with intelligence, but we actually put this under the umbrella of artificial intelligence. It's phonetics, and phonetics, it is about mathematics, nothing to do with intelligence. Decision-making, decision-making, it's about having, this big data stuff, big data sets, and then try to find patterns, and out of these patterns, you can conclude things, okay? So actually, in the 80s or 90s, there was a conclusion by AI. We were calling this data mining at that time, okay, data mining. So with AI, we recognize that when you have a newborn in a family, there is an increase in the beer consumption. Yeah. This was a great marketing stuff, a great finding. Do you know why? Because at that time, when the woman delivers, it's the man who goes to do shopping and to buy things. And some intelligent people, they put actually the beer beside the Pampers. You know? So you can buy Pampers and you can buy beer. And you can imagine what we can do with this and what we did already with this, with Amazon, Facebook, the GAFAM, etc. You know, so this is decision-making. Translation, so translate from one language to another. Communication, task, automation, the ability to learn new things, and the ability to abstract or associate with new knowledge based on already established knowledge. And then we talk about deep learning. So this is artificial intelligence. It's calculation, computing. I don't know why it's okay. This has nothing to do with artificial intelligence here. Okay. Okay, what is the difference between, why do we need a new type of artificial intelligence? Conventional and analytic AI, it is two types. It's NLP, natural language processing, because it's also about analysis. It's not dealing with the meaning and with the sense. It is language dependent. Do you know the first type of this artificial intelligence that was created? It was in the 60s, I think, and it was called GUS, Genius Understanding System. I don't know if you heard about it. And GUS actually was a travel agent, okay, simulating a travel agent where you can book your flight back to Chicago, your flight back only. So it is mono-language. It was only English, American English. And it was mono-destination, and it was only one way. Okay, so this was the first. And then we had another, evolved into another type of, more things. It was baseball and a program, and this was delivering a human-machine dialogue to ask on the results of the Yankees, the baseball, in baseball. And then we moved into more, genius artificial intelligence with NLP, was with Lisa. I don't know if you are acquainted with Lisa. Lisa was a psychologist where you can ask questions and dialogue with the psychologist, okay? And when she doesn't understand the question, she tells, and what about your mother, okay? Or something else, Again, this was nothing to do with the sense, with the meaning. The second type, machine learning, recognizes complex, multidimensional patterns, but also no meaning is associated to any of the underlying elements. Communication with an AI system like Siri are always limited by a single context. So it's you need to not only single context, but single language as well. So if you want to test any AI, it's not anymore Turing, test, but it is about asking a question in multi-languages that you know. The same question, so you don't ask the question, you don't repeat. Let's say I want to ask, where does the citadel of Besançon, where is it located actually? In that way, this is in English. So I ask, ich möchte savoir où se trouve the citadel das Besançon. Okay? And if you have a machine can answer this question, you can say this machine can understand actually. It is an understanding machine. It is not just related terms together and having this. So a linguistic and value-driven AI is required for data governance, for data quality, for business management, for any activity that we would like to do in a platform. So linguistic AI handles semantics. So embed a semantic meta-model, SMM, language and data structure independent. So who says that I need to standardize? Who said that I need to speak the same language as you? Who said that the business must speak the technical language or the technical people must speak the business language? Who said that? Why we do actually this, these constraints? Because I am much more inventive in French than in English, okay? And I'm sure that the Americans here that are American-speaking people, they are much more inventive in American than in French. The same thing, a doctor in data quality, okay, is much more actually inventive and bringing value if he or she speaks data quality. And the business manager is much more relevant for him to speak business language. So that's why we need now a new type of machine. And for the first time in history, it is the machine that has to adapt, and it's the machine that has to connect people together and not the other way around. Because before, if I want to report, I need to understand what is the star schema. Oh, this is not possible. You cannot get this because this is, the OLAP, the roll-up. So this is how, when I was a computer scientist, specialized in data warehousing, I was having the amazing intelligence to make the business people understand that they don't need what they are asking for. This was my, the beauty. I was a very good data warehousing, architect. And today, the data governance people, they are forcing the business people, you need to understand data governance. You need to understand data quality. And for them, okay, I want to understand data quality, but actually my target is to make more money, to pay your salary, okay? So we need a machine now. It's the machine that will save the world. Okay? Because it will enable, because it is limitless. A machine is limitless. It can understand the meaning, the basic meaning, and then, giving it to any, language, whatever it is, for a machine language or a human language. It's like this. This is the data, so the values. These are the attributes or the words that describe these values, and this is its meaning. And if you have actually the meaning, the acoustic image that we have in our mind when we say table, okay, because I am sure that when I say table, you understand exactly what it is, but you don't actually envisage or imagine anything. And you don't carry the table, the physical table. Okay, so we need, like this. So here is the data language. Here is the database language. This is the SIM, and this is the natural language. Whatever it's business or whatever, you can have, synonyms of the same thing. It understands words and semantics within context. Example, all employees in a technical position must have a technical degree. No product should contain contaminants of type X without an explicit label on the package. This is a real, rule from the FDA, because you cannot put contaminants or ingredients in a packaging without actually telling, because we may die because of this if we are allergic, the allergens, etc. So it is very important. A human can talk using a standard vocabulary in any language. So the limitation of the conventional AI, I already talked about many of it. So based on statistics. So it is not because I have 100 people sitting in a boat and going out of the boat and jumping into the, river or into the sea. If I have 99 people out of 100, they go to the bridge and they jump. What is the probability that the last person, the 100, jumps? So give it to your intelligence. And I can tell you that the machine is not more intelligent than you. So if I have to ask you this question, what would be your answer? What is the probability that the number 100 jumps as well? Sorry? 0. Any other answer? 99. Other answer? 50-50. Okay, all these answers are correct. May occur and may not. All scenarios are possible. The only one who knows, do you know who? The last one. Yeah, the last one. It's the only one who he knows. And it doesn't depend only on him, because maybe the bridge is closed now. He cannot jump. Okay? So the context, the data within context, the data with no context is dangerous. Very dangerous. Operations should be well defined in advance. I mean, what for? What is the intelligence if I have to organize my data set, and to complement the data and to adjust the data quality, and I don't know according to what actually magic I will, be able to do this. 6 steps before getting any intelligence. Systems are not very flexible by design. This is, that. Actually, simply because you put the rules inside the systems. Simply that. Because the workflow is rigid, is fixed. Okay, only this. So it is rigid by design. The use of the old paradigm makes it difficult to move forward. So you cannot continue to use the old, methods. If we apply the same rules, what would be the result? The same results. If you apply the same rules on the same data, you will get the same results. So you need the new data and you need new rules, so that you change the outcome, because the outcome depends on data, rules, and the willingness to execute what the machine is telling you to execute. It requires a standardization of data processes, so harmonization of the processes, harmonization of the data, harmonization of the systems. This is just to start. So for large companies, they put millions and billions so that they standardize these three things: processes, data, and systems. What amazes me is that why we do this. I did it multiple times. Why? I know that I will fail, and I do it. I don't know why. Do you have any answer for this? Why do we do it? We know that we will fail. If you re-standardize, re-harmonize, blah, 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 you will have results. The same results that you achieved, actually, you will have them. Okay? So, key performance indicators. We all agree that value is important, and we are here to create value. Everyone says this, and everyone says that we agree with the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, the 17th of the UN. We all agree that we have to. And actually, we still measure with old measurement. There is no value measurement today. So we measure performance, whereas we need to measure value, because we said what we are going to value. Why I'm telling you that? Because data governance is the key to success. Because if you don't govern the usage, not governing the data, what are the attributes, what are the terms, how they are linked together, what is the beautiful knowledge graph, But if you don't link these things together, we will fail, I can tell you. But we will not fail, and I can tell you, because we are smart, and we are intelligent, and we will find our way. But the problem is time. We have no time. It will take time. That's why we need the help of the machine, and to move actually to new type of measurements. The knowledge is frozen and not renewed, static and never up to date, requires constant human intervention. And we know when the humans intervene in something, what happens? First of all, we destroy everything. Then we realize that where is the problem coming from, and then we build. And of course, this is cyclic, the wars, we do the war, we break, and then we realize, we need to dialogue because we have only one planet that we are able to live on. And then, we need to rebuild, and now we have a target in 2050, no carbon emission. Okay? And then it goes. And, So, a new kind of AI that enables the connection and coordination between humans and machines, because we are not able to coordinate ourselves. So it is time to give confidence to the machine so that the machine can coordinate us, I give an example of the Bible. We need a Noah Ark, so that actually a tool. Because the consultants will tell you, you don't need, the tools are not important, the tools are not, no. The tools are the ones that actually made our evolution. Because if you see medicine, it didn't evolve since the 19th century, okay? What evolved are the tools that we are using so that we can do better diagnosis, better intervention, etc. But the medicine itself, we have seen the COVID. We were not able to, to make a vaccine. Even if we call it a vaccine, it's not a vaccine because we have to re-inject again and again, So, and in the same time, as I said, it's the value, but it's also we need to respect ownership, because it's not Google's data, my data. It's not Amazon's data, okay? It is your data. So we need, of course, to respect. Data governance role is to respect ownership. So I will go very quickly into this. So this is the paradigm, the old paradigm. If you need to transform data to information, to knowledge, to insight, to wisdom. This paradigm didn't actually resolve the governance and the communication problem. It is still there. So what we need is to make the bridge. So to connect directly human wisdom to the data, while respecting, the data source and the ownership, and while respecting all these regulations. So the data governance role for me is to connect all these dots together. And of course, to focus on roadmaps to value, prescriptive roadmap to value, okay? And to have the measurements that are key value indicators. Money, you need to link it to the money, because the money, this is what represents the quantitative value. And you need to link it to the rules of the game, because this is what actually links to the intangible value, because value is a word that has two meanings, and this is actually will be my last definition of a word. Value came from valere, this is Latin, and then moved into French, valoir, and then to English, Middle English, value. And it is a word that is it is the most mystic word in the world, because we don't have really a rigid definition. It has the sense and its opposite. It's what we can quantify by numbers, and it is what we cannot quantify by numbers, value and values. The plural meaning is different from the singular meaning. This is value, okay? So we need actually to link these two meanings together in everything we do. So the key performance indicators, it is generating revenue, net profit, cash flow, inventory. But do we achieve climate change, to stop climate change? We don't. Do we achieve gender equality? No. Do we achieve eradicate poverty? No. Okay. So key value indicators are forward-looking, meaning that they are linked to the target, to what I want to achieve. They are linked to the money and to the values. It anticipates the impact of non-compliant, meaning that I need to know what would be the impact if I don't align the data towards that objective. Okay. KVI can track top-line value creation, but also can track the cost of this, because sometimes we need to work on our ambitions, And you need communities. You need a platform that actually connect community together, to have a common data sharing sphere, and to be able to work in anywhere. It's, the metaverse, we call the metaverse, but the metaverse has to be real, linked to the real values and to the real value. And last slide. So how to do this? Yes, this is the last slide. This is the whole story, the secret. We need to standardize, simplify first, standardize, and share. And actually, it is a three type of people and knowledge that is required. People who are the law people that can understand law, standardization, etc. People who understand the value and the values, which means the money, the finance, and in the same time, the values of people, liberty, all of this. And we need people who can structure this data and understand the data management. And these, when they are linked together through a non-conventional AI, linguistic AI, and value-driven AI, you can actually adjust and achieve. If your ambition is high, you can lower it, because you can see that you cannot achieve it with the cost or the budget that you have. And you can adjust actually and make a complete harmonization. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I am here until tomorrow. So please do not hesitate. Thank you.